hairy balls. Oh, wait. No, I was just thinking of the temporary name for Elon Musk. I'm sorry. It was, it's just a mistake. Anyway, wow. Do I have a ton of news for you today? There was actually two incidents involving aircraft today. One of them near San Diego, and the other one right here near us, St. Louis Lambert International Airport. That was a minor incident, and the aircraft apparently skidded off the runway. Nobody was injured. It really wasn't that big of a deal. And I really wish I could do a good Trump impersonation, because I would have to do a Trump impersonation. We saved money. We didn't put out the emergency slide. Instead, we just stacked mattresses. We had big, beautiful mattresses. People tell me all the time it was the most big, beautiful mattresses they've ever seen. We just had them jump down on the mattress and then get into a bus, and we took them to the terminal. It was so beautiful. Everybody tells me I can't do Trump, but that would be a fun one. Anyway, man, like I said, a lot of news today. A whole lot of news today. I've got 9 articles up. That's quite a few. And, man, everybody's falling in line. Disney, Apple, PBS. I mean, this is crazy at what is happening. We're taking the country back. There is no mistake of that. We are taking the country back. And it's nice to see. It's really nice to see. Wow, man. Okay, like I said, I've got 9 articles to go over today. Let me make sure nobody's getting injured by a purse in the big purse fight that we're having in the local town group. Thanks to me. I'm the instigator again. Oh, man. I got to read this. Wow. Wow. Okay, real quick, I have to thank this lady for her service. So anyway, I wanted to make sure to do that because that's the respectful thing to do. Apparently right now she's serving, still serving active duty. So that is, that's awesome. Let's see. So again, a lot of companies are changing course, and I'm pretty surprised, to be honest. All 3 of the cases that I'm looking at, I'm shocked. So as far as the order of these news stories, I just put them in the order that they came out, or at least that I found out about them. So let's get started. Disney ditching woke policies, says the media. Says Disney has made changes to some of its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, becoming the latest in a string of companies to do so amid U.S. President Donald Trump's crackdown. Axios and Variety reported on Tuesday, citing sources. According to the outlets, the changes were outlined in a note to Disney employees from Chief Human Resources Officer Sonia Coleman. The memo reportedly stated that starting this year, the entertainment giant will replace the Diversity and Inclusion Performance Factor, which it used to evaluate executive compensation, with a new Talent Strategy Factor. You mean like merit? What a notion. The former focused on boosting the diversity and inclusion of Disney executives and managers, while the new policy will focus on business success and upholding company values, such as making Disney entertainment driven instead of agenda driven. Making Disney great again. Huh. The MATA. Let's see. The studio will also ditch its controversial Reimagine Tomorrow initiative, which it rolled out in 2021 to highlight stories and talent from underrepresented communities. Under the initiative, like the gangs, Venezuelan gangs, they're underrepresented communities. Under the initiative, Disney reportedly planned on having 50% of its characters come from minorities and adopting inclusion standards across all the studio's content. It's okay to be white again? Let's see. The initiative came under fire last year when it earned the company a federal civil rights complaint for discrimination and using race, color, religion, sex, or national origin as the only motivating factor in hiring decisions. The initiative will be rebranded as My Disney Today and will focus on how well the company attracts top talent. The changes to Disney policy follow Trump's crackdown on DEI initiatives after he returned to office. The U.S. president signed multiple executive orders on Inauguration Day, which effectively ended DEI in the federal government. While Trump does not have the power to force private companies to terminate their own DEI programs, one of his orders encouraged the private sector to end illegal DEI discrimination and preferences. Trump's actions have already affected the policies of many big-name U.S. companies, with Target, Amazon, Meta, McDonald's, Walmart, Ford, Lowe's, and others either amending or removing their DEI programs to avoid potential legal action from the new administration. We got another one coming up that decided to end the nonsense too. Just absolutely mind-blowing to me. Really mind-blowing to me what's going on in this country, or what has gone on. Hopefully we're coming to that end there. I just, I never did understand how reverse racism was greater than racism. I think all discrimination is wrong. All of it. I find it mind-blowing that people want to bring back segregation and hatred and all kinds of nonsense. It makes no sense to me. I look at it, everybody kept saying that people like Trump and whatnot and his supporters were wanting to, go back as far as society is concerned. And that wasn't the case. They are wanting to go back. They're wanting, again, the segregation, the hatred, the division. Nobody on the right was wanting that. Everybody on the right was not even talking about that. Not even a little bit. Which is, I guess, why the left had to stir the pot again. I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen over the next 4 years as far as society is concerned. Things could get a little bit sketchy because, I think it's pretty clear. I think it's pretty clear that the majority of the people in this country are done with the nonsense. They're just done. And people with the left, or people on the left, they're double downing on their lies, their rhetoric, their nonsense. You listen to Schumer today before the vote for Tulsi Gabbard, and everything that came out of his mouth was a lie, a complete lie. And it was absolutely mind-blowing. And it blows my mind even more how he could possibly still be in office. But I think this is why the left is losing so badly. Because the lies are so big and so obvious and so many at this point that even many people on the left stop taking them seriously. And you're starting to see a lot of people from the left that are abandoning the left. They're at least abandoning this rhetoric. They're abandoning all the DEI stuff. They're abandoning the CRT stuff. I mean, it's wild to see the amount of people that are completely abandoning the left. I think it really makes a statement and sets a precedent that Donald Trump, for his cabinet, picked people like RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. That, in my opinion, is monumental. That reminds me of him walking across that North Korean DMZ line and shaking hands with Kim Jong-un. And I'm not saying that, I'm not equating RFK Jr. and Tulsi to Kim Jong-un, not in any way, shape, or form. But he's showing that he's certainly willing to give those opportunities. And I personally think that he made some incredible cabinet choices. There's some that I don't know the people, so I can't really give you a good idea on what I feel about them, like Pam Bondi, for instance. I really don't know anything about her. My initial reaction hearing her today when she was speaking, damn, this woman's a bitch. But I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. I mean, she does have the job of Attorney General. So you're kind of going to want somebody that's going to be stern, somebody that's going to be serious, take their job serious. You're going to want a bitch for that position. And I don't mean that in any way derogatory, not even a little bit. That's exactly what you want for that position. That was my initial impression. I don't know much about her history or anything like that. But I'm willing to sit back and watch and find out. Just like with a lot of these other individuals that I don't know. Pete Hegseth? Who the hell is that? I have no idea. This is the first I'd ever heard of the guy. It kind of is what it is. What was the guy? Oh, I can't even think of Bissett or something like that. I heard him speaking in an interview. He was talking about Doge, among other things. And I was very impressed what he had to say. I don't remember what position he was put in, but I was very impressed with what he had to say, how he said it. A lot of important information came out of that interview. I wished I had a copy of it handy. I don't even know who it was he was talking to. But he was explaining, because, the left keep lying and lying and lying about how Elon's changing everything in the systems and all that. They don't have access to. They've got read-only access. And this gentleman cleared it up and said the computers they're on don't even have the ability to make changes. The only computers that can make changes on those systems are at the Federal Reserve. Even Congress themselves does not have the ability to directly go in and change those, the payouts and everything else. That has to be done through the Federal Reserve. I thought that was an extremely important nugget of information. So I was impressed with listening to him speak today. I really, truly was. Let me have a sip of coffee. We'll go on to the next one, which is crazy. I pretty much expected it. At least for now it don't affect us. Not in any way that I can figure out. Power prices in Baltics nearly double after cut from Russian grid. Thank goodness this doesn't directly affect us. Electricity prices in the Baltic region have nearly doubled since Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania disconnected from Russia's electricity transmission grid last week, trading data from Nord Pool showed on Wednesday. The network that 3 Baltic states left, called Brel Energy Ring, synchronized the grids of Belarus, Russia, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania under Moscow's Central Dispatch. However, several years ago, the 3 EU states pledged to eventually cut their systems off from Brel, claiming that reliance on a network controlled by Russia jeopardized their energy security. On Sunday, they announced having successfully disconnected from Brel and synchronized their systems with the European continental power grid. However, according to figures from Nord Pool Energy Exchange, while the average price of electricity in the Baltics in January was €92 or $95 per megawatt hour, it jumped by roughly 25% to €125 per megawatt hour following the grid switch. On February 12, the average price of electricity in Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia soared further to €230 per megawatt hour, more than doubling from last month's average. That's quite the increase, and people in the United States has seen those types of increases just a couple of years back. Thanks, Biden. Some experts have argued that the price spikes are not attributable to the grid switch, which they portray as merely symbolic. All us 3 countries had long since stopped buying Russian and Belarusian electricity. Nevertheless, the Baltic nations continued relying on the Russian grid to control frequency and stabilize networks to avoid outages. So, it says Estonian gas transmission system operator Elering blamed the recent spike in prices on low wind and solar output. Estonian gas transmission system operator GAS blamed the spike on low wind and solar output. Yeah, I need some help there. Higher electricity consumption due to a cold snap and an increase in natural gas prices over the last week. Increase caused by low wind and solar output. Man, Hunter Biden's been over there, hadn't he? Definitely Hunter Biden's been over there. Man, that's crazy. That is crazy. So as I was saying, these major companies are coming around the bend. I don't know, a day or two ago, the news came out that Google, all that be Google, had changed on their map the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. I still chuckle. And that is correct, because I went and looked. There is one zoom point. You know how you can zoom in and out of the map? There was one zoom point that when you hit that one single point, I think it said Gulf of Mexico in parentheses, and then it said Gulf of America. Hang on. Let me see if I can pull it up. Because I thought that was interesting. I was actually trying to figure out how to make the labels bigger, because I was going to take kind of a picture that I thought would be humorous. But, yeah. Let me see if I can real quick do it. There's one spot that it would do that. I don't remember how close or how far away. So I'm just going to zoom in. Oh, now it disappeared. So let me slowly go back. Well, I wonder if they fixed that. I'm trying one more time going in, because I didn't start out very far. I'm thinking they fixed it. Yeah, they fixed it. There was one spot that it did it, and I thought it was funny, but they got it fixed. Apple changes Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America on maps. It says Apple renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America on its maps Tuesday after an order by President Donald Trump was made official by the U.S. by the U.S. Geographic Names Information System. The move follows Google, which announced last month that it would make the change once the official listing was updated, and wrote in a blog post on Sunday that it had begun rolling out the change. In Google's case, the company said people in the U.S. will see the Gulf of America and people in Mexico will see the Gulf of Mexico. Everyone else will see both names. That would have been probably why I saw that in that one spot. Okay. Not that I'm everyone else, but it just popped up that way. After taking office, Trump ordered that the water bordered by the southern United States, Mexico, and Cuba be renamed. You guys know all that. Crazy. It's good to see him at least working with them on this stuff. I know that the whole Gulf of America thing, I find it funny, but I think there's actually a legal reason why he did that. I'm not positive, but I've heard a couple of people say that it's a possibility that Biden, you know how he banned all the drilling oil and all that stuff? It's a possibility that this might be around Biden's nonsense, because now it's not the Gulf of Mexico. Biden didn't ban drilling in the Gulf of America. He banned drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. So I don't know if there's any truth to that, but it's certainly worth a mention. Certainly worth a mention. Let me have a sip of coffee. I'm moving through these okay, I think. Got 6 left. PBS closes DEI office, announces diversity officers are leaving in response to Trump executive orders. Another company coming around, right? PBS is shutting down its Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion office, and its diversity officers are leaving in response to President Donald Trump's executive orders. In a statement to Fox News Digital, PBS confirmed the news on Monday. In order to best ensure we are in compliance with the President's executive order around diversity, equity, and inclusion, we have closed our DEI office. Staff members who served in that office are leaving PBS. We will continue to adhere to our mission and values. PBS will continue to reflect all of America and remain a welcoming place for everyone, the statement said. PBS President and CEO Paula Kerger sent out a memo earlier in the day, according to the New York Times, informing her colleagues that after working with legal counsel on matter of Trump's executive orders on DEI, they decided to close the office. To ensure that we comply with the President's executive order, we have closed our DEI office, and Cecilia Loving and Gina Liao are leaving PBS. I know you join me in wishing them well in future endeavors, Kerger wrote. She continued, our mission is to educate, engage, and inspire the wide variety of American communities we serve will continue to be at the center of our work, and will also continue to ensure that PBS remains a welcoming place for everyone. So, that's good if that's what they do. But DEI was not making it a welcoming place for everyone. It was actually excluding mostly people that were white, mostly people that were heterosexual, mostly normal people. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I can't believe these companies got away with what they did. I can't believe the government was getting away with what they were doing. Because again, discrimination of any kind is wrong. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And we sure now can't fix any problems in between religions, in between nationalities, in between races, if we're excluding the largest majority out of the bunch. That's going to do nothing but cause havoc. That was their intent. I'm convinced of it. I'm convinced of it. Let me have a sip of coffee. And a vape. Sure. Pentagon rules out Ukraine joining NATO. This is an extremely important step to ending the war in Ukraine. This is like the most important step to ending the war in Ukraine. Says here, Ukraine will not be admitted to NATO as part of any ceasefire deal with Russia, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told reporters on Wednesday. He added that attempting to return Ukraine to its 2014 borders is unrealistic and that American troops will not be involved in maintaining any settlement. Kiev has repeatedly insisted that joining NATO is a key security issue for the country. Vladimir Zelensky has claimed it to be a prerequisite for resuming negotiations with Moscow. However, the U.S.-led military bloc has never provided a timeline for admitting Ukraine, and multiple officials have briefed media that there is no possibility of membership while a conflict is ongoing. Speaking ahead of a meeting with the U.S.-led Ukraine Defense Contact Group in Brussels, Hegseth dismissed the possibility of Ukraine joining the bloc, stating that the United States did not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement. He stressed that any security guarantees for Ukraine must be backed by capable European and non-European troops. To be clear, as part of any security guarantee, there will not be U.S. troops deployed to Ukraine, Hegseth emphasized. His comments come amid U.S. President Donald Trump's ongoing push to end the conflict. Trump has also expressed skepticism about possible NATO membership for Ukraine, arguing it could escalate tensions with Russia and that European nations should take greater responsibility for their own security. All of that is correct. All of that is correct. I think we are very near a ceasefire in Ukraine and Russia. I think it's really close. Maybe even within the next week or two. I think it could happen that quick. Trump is talking to Putin, and likewise. And I think that they've pretty much already got an understanding of what needs to happen. I believe Trump spoke to Zelensky today. I don't really know the outcome of that as of yet. It's probably out there, I would imagine. I don't personally know the what happened in that situation, but I'm pretty sure that Zelensky is gonna be on board, even with the understanding that there's going to be no NATO for them, and that Russia's pretty much going to get to keep the territories that they won. They're going to keep Crimea. They're probably going to keep the Donbass, the Zaporozhye, and the there's another region there. Is it the Kherson or something? I would imagine that's gonna be the way it shakes out. We'll see, but I do expect at least some type of a tentative deal and a ceasefire within a week or two. That's my expectations. We'll see if it comes true, and maybe we can get that war stopped. I think Trump's doing a great job. Not a big fan on his ideas for Gaza, not at all. Nor am I a fan of his plans for Palestinians. But out of everything that he's managed to do in the last 3 weeks, wow. I am stunned. I am stunned. When he took the helm this time around, he hit the ground running. And I think he had a pretty good plan ahead of time as to what he was going to do and how he was going to achieve it. One of those things was to make sure he surrounded himself with people that were going to work with him and not against him, including a vice president. It's remarkable what's been done. Back next up is the article on Putin and Trump speaking by phone. Let me have a sip of coffee here. This says live updates. Is this live updates? I'll just read the paragraph, the top of it, and forego all of the live updates. Oh, goodness. Man, that coffee's tasting extra good tonight. So I sat today, I kid you not, and I looked through 226 pages of different 4K live wallpapers to be able to put up different ones. I don't have a ton, because a lot of them are anime, a lot of them are crap. But I probably got, I don't know, 10, 12, something like that. Maybe 10. Of what I thought was the better ones. I kind of like this one, the light bulb with a tree growing inside of it. It's pretty cool. Give a better look of it. That is it there. I like it. Then last night I had one on. People like to see movie things on screens and stuff, so I can go as far as putting a live wallpaper up there. Okay. Russian President Vladimir Putin and his American counterpart Donald Trump had a phone conversation on Wednesday. Both Moscow and Washington have confirmed. The talk lasted for about an hour and a half, during which the two leaders discussed a broad range of issues, primarily the Ukraine conflict, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has said. The phone call turned out to be lengthy and highly productive, Trump said in a post on his Truth social media platform. We discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, the power of the dollar, and various other subjects, the U.S. president wrote. The two leaders have agreed they want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia and Ukraine, Trump said, announcing an immediate start of negotiations to resolve the Ukraine conflict. Wednesday's call represents the first official top-level contact between Moscow and Washington since Trump took office in January. While phone conversations between Trump and Putin have been rumored for weeks, none have been officially confirmed, with both sides stating only that they have been maintaining contact through various unspecified government channels. So, again, this is great. We want peace, right? I think we want peace. We're supposed to want peace. This is the road to that. The last 4 years is how you get us in nuclear conflict. I am so glad that we have an opportunity to de-escalate this situation before it came to that. I can tell you right now, if somebody else would have been the one that got in office instead of Trump, we may have already had it. Because I think that there were countries around the world that were watching very closely to what happened with the election here. They knew that if Kamala Harris would have gotten in office, it would have just been more of the same. And I don't think that China or Russia or anybody else, North Korea, anybody else that has had enough, I don't think they'd have been willing to go through another 4 years of nonsense. Oh, anyway, it's a very, very good thing. 3 more articles. Ooh, I'm actually getting ahead. That's good. The most beautiful articles. I'm kidding. I really do wish I could do impersonations, but I can't. Goodness. So, RFK Jr. was advanced today. I think possibly he goes up for vote tomorrow. Don't quote me on that. It sure would be nice to see him get it. Tulsi Gabbard, she was supposed to be voted last night at 12:30 a.m., which I think is shady as hell. But then that got bumped up to, I think it was 9 a.m. today because of all the snow. Well, bumped later actually because of all the snow and stuff, the weather in D.C. So they went ahead and did it this morning instead. And she did it. 52-48, she did it. I think that probably RFK Jr. is going to have just a touch easier time than Tulsi to get confirmed. I really do. I wouldn't be surprised to see 53, 54, 55, something like that in RFK Jr.'s favor. We'll see. Hopefully we'll see tomorrow. Kash Patel, on the other hand, that's the one I'm concerned about. He might skate by like Pete Hegseth, but I think it might come to that. I think it might come to J.D. Vance having to make a tie-breaking vote when it comes to Hegseth. I have a feeling maybe you'll have one traitor on each side, maybe. One person on each side that says, no, Democrats saying, yeah, I'm good with Kash Patel. And one traitor Republican, because there generally is. McConnell, Man, they have got to get those folks out. They really do. I think if you're old enough to collect Social Security, you're too old to serve in government. That sound like a fair rule? And I get that that would knock Trump out right now. But there again, Congress and presidency are two different things. I think in Congress, for sure, if you're old enough to collect Social Security, that you should no longer be eligible for serving in Congress. You know, you want younger, sharper people there, not, the president of the hip replacement club, Oh, let's see. Tulsi Gabbard confirmed as U.S. Director of National Intelligence. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I really do think that she's a patriotic American, and I think she'll do a great job. I'm interested to see what and how she does. I truly am. Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democratic Congresswoman, has been confirmed by the U.S. Senate as Director of National Intelligence following scrutiny on Capitol Hill over her past positions. I gotta say this. Today, when they had confirmed her, Pam Bondi or when they had given her the oath of office, Pam Bondi is the one that administered it to her. And I wished I could remember what the funny thing was. I think reporters started firing questions or something right away, and Trump said something to the effect of, "Well, can you give us a chance to speak?" or something like that. I can't remember, but exactly how it went. But it was humorous. Anyway, the part that I want to point out is, of course, Trump invited her to the podium to say a few words. And there was a moment where she was looking at Trump and thanking him on behalf of herself and her fellow service members for understanding the value of American lives, understanding the weight of sending our men and women in uniform abroad to do whatever deed it may be, and understanding that war, and she used these words, that war should be the last resort, not the first. And I can tell a lot, I mean a lot, by people's body mechanics, their facial expressions, their eyes. It's just something I've always been really good at doing. And for a moment, I thought Trump might have been about to tear up. The look that he returned to Tulsi, sorry. It was humble. And it was pride in a humble way. He was glad that he could be that he could do that. And I think it meant a lot to him. Hell, it meant a lot to me. I've never served. I've got a brother who did. But it meant a lot to me. Because I like peace. I really do. I think we're going to have peace for at least 4 years. It says here, I guess I haven't read any of it yet, huh? Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democratic Congress. Oh, yeah, I did. I read that. Okay, on Wednesday, the Senate approved her nomination with a 52-48 vote, with only one Republican, Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, opposing her confirmation because he's a traitor. Gabbard, a former presidential candidate and Iraq war veteran, has been a fierce critic of the U.S. intelligence community she is now set to lead. In a sharp rebuke following the vote, McConnell claimed Gabbard is unfit for the critical position and has a troubling record of poor judgment. That's because McConnell is a war hawk and was getting kickbacks from Defense Department funds. Allegedly. Let's see. The Senate's role in advice and consent is not a formality, but a duty. One we must take seriously, McConnell stated. Yeah, like getting you out of office because all the reasons. Just check all the reasons. U.S. President Donald Trump picked her for the top intelligence role in mid-November, provoking anger among establishment leaders who labeled her a significant security risk. In 2022, Gabbard contended that the Ukraine conflict might have been prevented if the U.S. had simply acknowledged Russia's legitimate security concerns linked to Kiev's ambitions to join NATO. That's a fact. In October, she revealed her decision to join the Republican Party during a rally supporting Trump's presidential campaign. She has faced intense scrutiny over her past positions, including her support for whistleblower Edward Snowden. To me, that's patriotic. And 2017 meeting with Syrian President Bashar Assad. Hey, we are supposed to be supporting whistleblowers. And the things that Edward Snowden revealed, we damn well should have known. He didn't do anything wrong. He was a patriotic American that wanted to serve his nation in the one way he could. And he did. And now he's residing in Russia as a result of it. During her confirmation hearing last week, Gabbard declined to call Snowden a traitor, instead stating that he had broken the law. He did that. But again, I think what it was that he revealed absolutely qualifies as being a whistleblower. Look, you can't have a system to where you can say you want transparency, you want openness and honesty, and then turn around and imprison the people that try to bring it. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. It's absolutely insane. Well, anyway, as Director of National... And I know I'm skipping a little bit. As Director of National Intelligence, she will oversee 18 intelligence agencies, including the CIA and FBI, which together employ over 70,000 personnel responsible for handling U.S. intelligence operations. We'll get back with us maybe like next month as to how many personnel that is. I have a feeling the number might be a little smaller. Little bit. Alright. Let me have a couple more sips. Oh wow. See, I was ahead on time and then I got jabbering and now I'm on time now. So that's good, but I told you about the incident at the beginning of the show here near in St. Louis Lambert International. The aircraft skidding off the runway. Again, nobody was injured with that. Not a big deal, really. However, a Navy fighter jet crashed into San Diego Bay. That is a much bigger deal. Says here, Navy fighter jet crashes into San Diego Bay near Naval Air Station. 2 pilots rescued. A U.S. Navy electronic warcraft... Let me try that again. A U.S. Navy electronic warfare aircraft crashed into the San Diego Bay near Naval Air Station North Island on Wednesday, sending 2 service members to the hospital. The Navy confirmed there were 2 pilots on board the Boeing EA-18G Growler, and both were rescued. San Diego Fire Department officials confirmed the crash was reported near Shelter Island just after 10:16 a.m. local time. Coast Guard San Diego office confirmed to Fox News that the pilots were rescued by a fishing vessel. They were then transferred to U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Air and Marine Operations, making sure they weren't trying to sneak back into the country. Oh, wait. The fishing company H&M Landing provided a statement to Fox News Digital claiming the aircraft experienced a mechanical failure. At approximately 10:15, the 2 pilots ejected from their aircraft after experiencing a mechanical failure, according to the statement. Moments later, the aircraft crashed into the bay. The Premier, which was in the immediate vicinity, swiftly responded to the emergency. The company said after seeing the pilots eject, the crew sped toward the pilots before they even hit the water. Fishing boats safely recovered the aviators and provided immediate assistance, according to H&M Landing. We are relieved and grateful to have had one of our vessels in the right place at the right time, said Frank Ursitti, H&M Landing General Manager. Captain Brandon Vietz and the crew of the Premier acted swiftly, and thanks to their professionalism, were able to bring these pilots to safety. The pilots were in the water for about a minute, the Coast Guard said. Fire officials sent 60 personnel to the scene, including 2 fire trucks, a foam truck, 5 engines, a helicopter, 2 boats, and a lifeguard river team. Both pilots were taken to a local hospital and were said to be in stable condition, according to the Coast Guard. A Navy official told Fox News Digital it's unclear if a distress signal was sent out prior to the crash, and the pilots have not yet been identified. The wreckage remains in the water, the Coast Guard said. So, and then it goes on, but that's what happened in that incident. Thankfully, the pilots are going to be okay. Thankfully, there were nobody, hurt on the ground or in the water. That's a good thing. And one more article. I don't know if it's 10,000 miles. No, it's actually fairly short. Especially for AP. That's really short for AP. I tried to pull news from more of a variety of sources, but there's a lot of them that have paywalls. Even Fox was dinging me, and so I had to sign up for a free account. AP, they've been good to me. Reuters, though, they're not. I can read their stuff, but I have to open in incognito mode, and then it lets me see their stuff. But I can't do that and then bring that tab over into a window of tabs that are not incognito. So I try not to deal with Reuters. There's a lot of them that have that paywall crap. And, it is what it is. It's crap. And how many of these news outlets were getting money from USAID? Getting money from the government, getting money from advertising, and then money from subscription services. Well, yeah, but they got to pay all those employees. Well, maybe they need to get rid of some employees. Man, bloat is all over. It's not just in the public sector, it's in the private sector. Especially when you're talking about news agencies and stuff like that. You got two things. You got bloat where people are employed making a ton of money in those positions that probably aren't so much needed. And then you got the people actually out on the ground getting the information, doing the hard work, and they kind of like subcontract them. You know what I mean? And if they've got something they want, they'll pay them for that. But they pick and choose and stuff like that. The people that are actually doing the work. Then you got a bunch of lazy ass administrator workers that it's nonsense. Hang on. Calm down, I'm almost done. Blue's having a little bit of an itchy fit. So, I just kind of calm her down and stuff. And it gets better. So she got more medicine today. Haven't put any in her ears yet. I did yesterday. The last bottle we had, I used the rest of it yesterday. And I try to put a day in between. So tomorrow I'll hit both ears really good. And I'll wait a day. And then the next day I'll hit both ears again really good. Hopefully we can get her through it again and calm it down because it drives her nuts. I wish we could totally get rid of it. I mean, poor girl's put up with that ever since we've had her. How old is she? Is she 7 now? I believe she's 7 now. Or close to it. One of the two. I don't remember. I'd have to look. She's either 6, getting close to 7. I think June is when. Or she's 7, getting close to 8. I can't remember for sure which one. Horrible dog dad, I know. Alright, one more article. And we're going to be in overtime. Judge clears way for Trump's plan to downsize federal workforce with deferred resignation program. I think a lot of the stuff that the judges are trying to block, I don't think they're going to have a lot of overall success. I think a lot of it's going to get overturned. A federal judge on Wednesday cleared the way for President Donald Trump's plan to downsize the federal workforce with the deferred resignation program. It was a significant legal victory for the Republican president after a string of courtroom setbacks. This goes to show that lawfare will not ultimately prevail over the will of 77 million Americans who supported President Donald Trump and his priorities, said White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt. Or is it Levitt? I think it's Levitt. And I think it's Caroline Levitt, I think. It's unclear how many federal workers accepted the offer to quit in return for being paid until September 30, but the White House said there were 65,000 as of Friday. Wow. Remember that number I was telling you about a while ago that was going to shrink real quick? Yeah. McLaureen Pinover, a spokeswoman for the Office of Personnel Management, said the deferred resignation program was now closed to additional workers. She said it provides generous benefits so federal workers can plan for their futures. American Federation of Government Employees National President Everett Kelly said in a statement that the union's lawyers are assessing next steps. Today's ruling is a setback in the fight for dignity and fairness for public servants, Kelly said, but it's not the end of the fight. Importantly, this decision did not address the underlying lawfulness of the program. The union continues to maintain that it's illegal to force American citizens to make a decision in a few short days without adequate information about whether to uproot their families and leave their careers for what amounts to be unfunded IOU from Elon Musk, the statement said. That's nothing but a big damn lie, because they're not being forced. This is a resignation. These are people that want to do it, that are accepting the offer. They're not forced. They're not forced. And this lady even said that now the program is closed to additional workers. Right? How forced does this make it sound? I mean, that's ridiculous. U.S. District Judge George O'Toole Jr. in Boston found that the unions didn't have a legal standing to challenge the program, commonly described as a buyout. O'Toole was nominated by former President Bill Clinton, a Democrat. You know, how many of those 65,000 people were actually upset that a judge stepped in and tried to stop it to begin with? Again, this is a resignation. This isn't forced out. It's a resignation. Now, okay, maybe a lot of these employees were working at home and didn't have a place to go to work in the office. That might be. But wouldn't it be better to accept like 8 months or whatever it was of paychecks so that you can, again, afford to live and look for something else? One of the very things that Trump was elected on was downsizing the federal government. That's what he's doing. He's doing the will of the American people. Imagine that. A president that listens and acts on what the American people want. Been a long damn time since we've had that. Nope, we've just had presidents and administrations that pushed their bullshit down our throats, regardless of how nonsensical it was. That is not what is happening now. I'm not a trumpet. I'm not somebody that praises Trump, idolizes Trump. But I'm one of those common sense people that he talks about. Let's see. The deferred resignation program has been spearheaded by Elon Musk, who is serving as Trump's top advisor for reducing federal spending. Under the plan, employees can stop working and get paid until September 30th. Labor unions argued that the plan is illegal and asked for O'Toole to keep it on hold and prevent the Office of Personnel Management, or OPM, from soliciting more workers to sign up. A Justice Department lawyer has called the plan a humane off-ramp for federal employees who may have structured their lives around working remotely and have been ordered to return to government offices. Hey, it's giving them a chance. It's better than just giving them that slip and saying, see ya, go collect unemployment. Much better than that. They're getting what they would have gotten for working. Unemployment wouldn't have been that much, and it damn well wouldn't have been that long. Yeah. Absolutely a humane off-ramp. I agree. I don't know what people expect. I have seen people on the left raising hell the last few days that Trump hasn't brought down inflation costs like he promised. He's been in office 3 weeks. On day one, he signed an executive order creating a team of people to look into doing that very task. We gotta give them some time to draw up a report, present it to Trump, and go from there. I think it's a little bit silly to expect all of that and the changes be implemented and take effect to see shortage or inflation come down now. They argue that, it's going to get worse. Yep, you're right. That's exactly what Trump said. It will get a little bit worse before it gets better. But I'm telling you, we weren't on a road to getting better under Biden. We damn sure wouldn't be under a road of getting better with Kamala. Look, I always say, if you want to learn how to play baseball, go ask a baseball player. Don't go to a football player, go ask a baseball player. If you want to learn to play golf, go ask a golf guy, golf woman, whatever that golfer. There we go, a golfer. Don't ask a golfer how to play football. If you want to improve the economy and turn this massive ship of a corporation that it is around, you're going to need businessmen. I am thankful that we have a businessman that believes in peace. And that I think just might have truly good intentions for this nation. I had never felt as good about Trump before as I do now. I really despise his idea on Gaza. I really despise that, and I rebuke it. But that is the only thing that I can point out so far and say I'm absolutely not good with that. Everything else are either things that I've said for a long time, or things that I've been enlightened by his taking over of that position, his presidency. In the end, all we can do is sit back and see how things shake out. But I think if there's a chance to turn this country around, stop it from falling into the abyss, this is our best shot. And I will absolutely pray that he is able to achieve that. For all of us. Even if you've got blue hair or pink hair. Even if you've got gender dysphoria. No matter what. I want us all to do well. And that's how exactly we should look at it. Look at life. We should want everybody around the planet to do well. It's what we're supposed to do. Anyway, I am going to get out of here. I appreciate you coming. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow night to finish up the week. And we'll see you then. Shalom.